Welcome to the session. In this session, we'll see about different types of DC motors and its characteristics. So, depend on the way in which the field windings are connected to the armature, the DC motor are classified into same as DC generator. Means it is also having three types, that is shunt motor, series motor, and compound motor. So in the compound motor, we have seen that again we have two types, as like in generator, cumulative compound DC motor, differentially compound DC motor. So again those two types will have subsection, that is long shunt and short shunt. So first we see about DC shunt motor. So as like in DC shunt generator, if the field winding is connected in parallel with the armature, so that one we call it as shunt generator. So like that, here also, if the shunt field winding is connected across the armature, so that we call it as DC shunt motor. And when I go for its circuit diagram, here you can see that so the shunt field winding is in parallel with the armature. So and the terminals are V indicate supply voltage, I indicates line current, IA indicates armature current, IF indicate field current, and EB indicates back EMF. So on observing the circuit, we can see that so the armature current is given by line current minus the field current or the shunt current. So IA equals I minus IFF. To calculate the IF value, so IF equals V by RSH, or it is also called as RF, means field resistance, that is shunt field resistance. If you want to calculate the back EMF, so it is given by V minus IA into RA. So in the we have observed that in generator, so the EMF will be greater than voltage V. So whereas here, so the back EMF will be less than the supply voltage. That's why EB equals V minus IA into RA. So when you observe this equation, when I compare with the same equation with respect to an shunt generator, so there we get V E equals V plus IA into RA. Means there we are going to add the terminal voltage and the armature drop, but whereas here we are going to subtract the armature drop with respect to voltage. So the difference is minus. So back EMF is given by V minus IA into RA. And similarly, DC series motor. So here the series field winding is connected in series with the armature. So you can see the circuit, the field winding is in series with armature, and IA equals ISC and ISV equals I, as the winding is in series, same as like DC series generator. So the equations are EB equals V minus IA into RA minus IA into RSC. Since here the winding is connected in series with the armature, we have to consider the voltage drop across an series field winding. As IA equals ISC, so the equation become EB equals V minus IA into RA plus RSC. And next one is compound motor, means it is a combination of both the windings, that is field windings and the series shunt field winding and series field winding. So it has two field windings, one connected in parallel with the armature and other in series with it. So it is having two types, that is cumulative and differential. So if the fluxes, that is phi SH produced by the shunt field winding and phi SC produced by the series field winding are in same direction and are additive, then the motor is said to be cumulative compound motor. So what we can see that when I go for the cumulative compound motor, the flux produced across an shunt field winding and the flux across an series field winding if both are in same direction, so here you can see the terminals y and yy and z and double z. So they are terminals of field winding, shunt field winding, and these are the terminals of series winding. So if both the flux, that is phi sh and phi sc, are in same direction, then the total fluxes will be, that is phi t will be additive, and that motor we call it as cumulative compound. The cumulative meaning is that so both the flux will be added. So similarly, if the fluxes are in opposite direction, here you can see the terminals Z double Z, whereas here the series winding terminals are interchanged. So when you compare with cumulative, so they are in same direction. Here the terminals are interchanged, so the phi sh and phi sv will be opposite in direction. So the total flux will be differential of the shunt flux and the series flux. Therefore phi t equals phi sh minus phi sc in the differential compound motor, whereas in cumulative the phi t equals phi sh plus phi sc, means both are additive, and here in the differential both are differential. So based on how we are going to connect the field winding, it is having long shunt and short shunt. So if the shunt field winding is connected in parallel with both the series field winding and the armature, then we call it as long shunt DC motor. So it may be in either cumulative or differential. The shunt field winding will be parallel with the both the series field winding and the armature. So that we call it as long shunt motors. If the shunt field winding is connected in parallel with only the armature, so we're not going to consider the series field winding. It is only connected in parallel with the armature. So that one we call it as short shunt DC motor. So we'll go with the formulas. For cumulative and differential, the formulas will remain same, only we'll observe the changes in long shunt and short shunt. Means for cumulative or differential, the long shunt formula will remain same, and similarly for short shunt is same for both the cumulative and differential. So when I go with the first one, that is long shunt, so EB equals V minus IA into RA plus RSC, and ISH is given by V by RSH, as it is completely parallel with the armature and the series field winding. That's why V ISH equals V by RSH, and armature current is given by I minus ISH. So that is, this is the main line current. So IA equals I minus ISH. And I go for the short shunt. So here EB will remain same, V minus I into RSC minus IA into RSC, and IA is as it is, I minus ISH. So when I go for the shunt current, so here V minus I into RSC divided by RSH, because the shunt field winding is in parallel with only with the armature. So that's why I need to consider the voltage drop across an series field winding. Therefore, the shunt current is given by ISH is equal to V minus ISC into RSC divided by RSH. So here you can see the equation, and the both back EMF will remain same, that is V minus IA into RA plus RAC, whereas here V minus I into RAC minus IA into RA. So here the line current is equals to the series current, that is I equals RSC, sorry, I equals ISC. So next we'll move the characteristics of DC motor. So to analyze the performance of an DC motor, so we are going to consider the motor characteristics based on the speed, the armature torque, and the armature current. So where N indicates the speed of a motor, TA indicates the armature torque, and IA indicates the armature current, and phi indicates the flux. So it has mainly three characteristics: the variation of an armature torque with respect to armature current, so that is also called as electrical characteristics, and the variation of speed with respect to IA, and third one, the mechanical characteristics. It means variation of an speed with respect to armature torque. So for your syllabus, we have only the characteristics based on DC shunt motor and based on DC series motor. So first we'll go with the DC shunt motor. So here the first figure indicates the variation of TA with respect to IA. So here we have considered both the armature torque and the shaft torque, and the second indicates the variation of speed with respect to IA. This straight line indicates the synchronous speed, that is ns, and here the third one, the variation of speed with respect to TA. So first we'll see about the variation of an armature torque with respect to IA. So while going with the characteristics, we need to remember the EMF, back EMF equation and the torque equation. So the back EMF is given by EB equals Z pi n into P divided by 60 into A, whereas the torque equation is given by 0.159 into Z pi into IA into P by A. So here the Z, P, A and pi, these are all constant terminals, and here also same. So first we'll go with the variation of armature torque with respect to armature current. So assuming the flux to be practically constant, because at heavy loads the phi decreases somewhat due to increased armature reaction. Means armature reaction is nothing but the effect of an main flux over the armature flux, that we call it as armature reaction. So usually in shunt motor, the effect of flux will be practically constant. So that's why when I consider phi is constant, the TA is directly proportional to IA, whereas other terms are constant. So they are having design parameters, so they will remain constant. And in shunt motor, the phi will remain practically constant. So its variation is very small. That's why the TA is always directly proportional to IA in shunt motor. Hence, the electrical characteristics are shown in figure A. In the figure, you can see that. So, figure A is practically a straight line with the origin. Means the armature torque is its variation is a straight line with respect to an armature current. The shaft torque is always will be less than the armature torque, that is due to losses already we have seen in the torque equation. And next is the DC shunt motor has medium starting torque, and hence it doesn't shoot where large loads are required to be started. Means on observing the variation of an armature torque with respect to an IA, we can see that the shunt motor doesn't possess high starting torque. So they have only medium starting torque. So that's why they are not used where high starting torque is used. So they are meant for only medium starting torque loads. And next is the variation of speed with respect to IA. So when I consider the back EMF, so here on considering the design parameters as constant, so we can see that the speed is proportional to the back EMF. And as I told that the flux will remain constant, practically constant in shunt motor. The flux and back EMF in a shunt motor are almost constant under normal load conditions. So therefore the speed of shunt motor will remain constant as the armature current varies. So Here the two parameters will remain constant. So that is the back EMF and the flux. So that's why the variation of the speed in the shunt motor is negligible. It is also called as a constant speed machine. At large load currents, the flux decreases due to armature reaction. It is negligible, means only a small variation in the flux is observed. Hence, the speed variation is also very small. So that's why the shunt motor is practically a constant speed machine. Means what we can observe that the variation of a flux in a DC shunt motor is almost constant. Means very small changes will occur. So that's why the change in the speed is very less amount. So here you can see in the dotted lines, so the speed variation is very less as the current changes. Next one is the variation of speed with respect to the armature torque. So on observing the previous characteristics, so here we know that the TA is proportional to IA. So from this, the first variation, you can see that the armature torque is proportional to Ia. So based on these observation, you can see that the N variation of speed with respect to armature characteristics is similar to the variation of speed with respect to Ia characteristics. Means, so these two are almost same. Means as the armature torque varies, the speed of the motor is also going to vary. So this curve is obtained by plotting the value of speed with respect to TA for various armature current. So it may be seen that the speed falls to some extent as torque increases. So whenever the torque increases, the speed is going to decrease in a very small amount. Means the both curves are almost same. So this is the variation of an speed with respect to IA. Similarly, this is the variation of an speed with respect to TA, and from this we have observed that TA is proportional to IA. So as the armature current increases, the armature torque is also going to increase. So as IA is inversely proportional to the speed, therefore as IA increases, the torque increases. Whenever the torque increases, the speed will decrease. Next one is DC series motor. So the first figure indicates the variation of armature torque with respect to IA, and second one variation of speed with respect to IA, and third one variation of speed with respect to TA. We'll go with the first one. So as the load on the motor increases, the current through the series field winding also increases, and hence the flux produced also increases. Means whenever there is a change in the load, so the current will also increases because the winding is connected in series with the motor. So whenever the load increases, so the current is also going to increase in DC motors. So as the current increases, so both as phi is proportional to Ia, even the flux is also going to increase. So on observing the equation, torque equation, we know that it is given by 0.159 Z pi Ia into P by A. So TA is proportional to phi into Ia, and even the flux is proportional to the Ia. Therefore, the equation becomes TA is proportional to Ia square. But this is only for up to some extent. Here you can see that after saturation. So here you can observe the point. So this we call it as the saturation point. Means the saturation point indicates that, so up to a certain extent, so the flux is going to vary for a certain period. So when it attains saturation, means the maximum limit, so the flux variation will remain constant. There you can observe only the variation of an current with respect to torque. Here you can see that. But after saturation, the flux remain constant, and the variation will be only TA with respect to IA. So up to saturation, the armature torque will vary in the form of Ia square. and hence the curve is in a parabola. So here you can see that the curve is a parabola for both armature torque and even for the shaft torque. So after saturation, so the TA is proportional to IA, hence the curve is straight line. So from the saturation point, so the curve becomes straight line. So from the characteristics, we find that the starting torque of DC series motor is very high. So means this series motor will possess a large variation in the torque with respect to an IA. Means the starting torque in series motor is more, means it possesses high twisting force in series motor when you compare with the DC shunt motor. So here the variation is very less, means it is only a straight line. But whereas in this one, so a large variation is observed, means the starting torque is more in series motor when you compare with the DC shunt motor. Next one is the variation of speed with respect to armature current. So we have the equation that is N is proportional to EB by pi from the back EMF equation, and here in series motor the armature drop and the series field is very small, so EB will remain practically constant as like in shunt motor. Therefore the speed is inversely proportional to the flux, and we know that the flux is proportional to Ia. Therefore speed is inversely proportional to Ia, means whenever the current increases, it means whenever the load increases the current increases, and ultimately the speed will decrease. So from the characteristics we can see that as the load increases the speed decreases for a wide range. Hence a DC series motor is considered as a variable speed motor, means as the load changes even the speed is also going to change. At no load, Ia is very small and hence the speed will be dangerously high. So here one point you can observe that when the motor is not having any load, so the motor will possess very high speed, means it is going to run at a dangerous speed. So therefore we should not start the DC motor so without any load. So the DC motor always should possess a 50% of load, so then only you can start the series motor, or else the motor may run out of its limited speed. Here you can see that if a DC series motor is started without any load on it, the speed is very high and hence it may run out of the standard speed. So due to an centrifugal forces setup, means a large excessive force, drawing force has been uh, developed in the DC series motor, and this make the motor to run at a very high speed. Hence we should not start an DC series motor without any load. And last one, so by observing the previous characteristics we can see that whenever the torque is high the motor will possess very less speed. When the speed is more, means the torque will be less. So from the characteristic we can see that as the torque increases the speed of the motor decreases, means the both variation are same as like in DC shunt motor. So this is not for your syllabus. And last we'll see the applications. So based on its characteristics, so they have been used for particular application. The shunt motor, so it is having a what medium starting torque and constant speed. So based on these they have been used for lathe machines which are used in machine shop, and for blowers, fans and reverse pumping machines. And series motor, they possess high starting torque and variable speed. So based on these characteristics they have been used in locomotives, trolleys, cranes, hoist or conveyors. And last one is the cumulative compound motor. So it is possess same characteristics as like series motor, so the variable speed and high starting torque. So based on these characteristics they are also used in conveyors, elevators, rolling mills, printing presses, etc. So this is all about DC motors. So in this session we have been seen about different types of an DC motors, characteristics of an DC motor, that is shunt motor and series motor, and last one is applications. So you go with this uh, video le- video lecture. So if you have any doubts, so you can interact in the group. Thank you.